most likely I'll be on the play here for game number 2. And away we go. You know, I remember the days where Korey McDuffie was the young one.
Yes.
Let's play Spicklemire now.
Yeah, that's how it works. You're young until you're not, and then someone else is.
A Thoughtseize from McDuffie's only going to bring him down to 16 to kick things off, much to my dismay and my bingo board. Player ending the first turn at 13 or less life. The hand here for Clay, he's got 4 lands, 2 Verdant Catacombs, a Godless Shrine, and a Blood Crypt, along with a Traverse the Uvenwald, a Fatal Push, and a Tarmogoyf.
Pretty soft hand here. Not a lot of interaction, very vulnerable to a big Del threat. Mana heavy. Doesn't look great.
Tarmogoyf down. We're going to head back over to Spicklemire now. Just a Verdant Catacombs and a passing of the turn. Here's Bloodstained Mire from McDuffie. He's going to get another Watery Grave. He's down to 13 now. Here's the Serum Vision. So Korey will draw. He'll scry 2 now. Stubborn Denial, and looks like Thoughtseize the cards he's looking at. A couple copies of Snapcaster Mage already in hand. We're going to head back over to Clay. A Blood Crypt untapped and just a passing of the turn. So he wants to get his life total a little bit lower, of course, given the archetype that he's playing. Korey's just about low enough, but this Thoughtseize will help get him where he's trying to go. Terminate Fatal Push is, let's say 2, along with the Godless Shrine, Verdant Catacombs there. And that Traverse still. A little ways away from Delirium at this point. And a very reactive hand here for Clay. Very removal dense.
And very vulnerable to a big Del threat.
Very true if he takes the Terminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fatal Push will not take care of Angler, and it will not take care of Tasigur. For now, Korey will pass the turn back over to Clay. Clay looks like he picked up another land. He'll play Catacombs, pass the turn back. Korey will draw, picked up a copy of Opt.
Snapcaster Opt.
Found a Pluto Delta. Here is that Delta. Let's go over to Spicklemire. Godless Shrine tap, pass the turn back. Clay's hand not cooperating at all this game.
Yeah, he drew up a land-heavy hand, and it has not improved since.
McDuffie's going to sacrifice the Pluto Delta. Curious to see how low he wants to go. Just needs to figure out exactly what land he wants to get, does Korey. Multiple-time SCG Tour Open champion is the player on the right, Atlanta native, who spent a lot of time playing Magic Online this week testing for this tournament.
Said he put in a lot of hours.
Atlanta not close to Cincinnati. Pretty healthy drive.
Ooh, delve 6 or more cards to cast a spell.
Can we not talk about it? Can we not talk about it? There's 6 down there.
And I got Snapcaster Opt. I mean, there's a Snapcaster Mage in his hand and an Opt in the graveyard and 3 mana.
That's all true. That is actually all true. Are any anglers to be had?
Listen, Korey, I really think just need to play a little reactively here. Just pass. And you know, at the end of the turn, then you can get your clock on and smooth out the draw a little bit. Some Snapcaster Opt. That's how I feel about this.
I think if you have an angler, you should play that and delve 6.
But don't you want to keep a spell there for your Snapcaster Mage?
No.
Come on,
no.
Opt.
Thoughtseize. Yes.
Oh, man.
Get a good look at the hand.
And 6 in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Come on, Korey.
Dismember, 2 Fatal Push, Traverse, and a land. Nice. Pretty good hand. Poke a hole in that. Kind of just want to take Traverse.
Right, and then just play the card advantage game. I mean, McDuffie's got so many threats in hand. I guess there's some chance the Traverse is just a blank for the whole game.
No, I mean it's on now. Sorcery, instant, creature, and then he can sack a fetch land.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, so it's just on. But it could be a blank insofar as anything that Clay can search up, Korey can just push it.
Yep.
So it's just not very good. Street Wraith the draw. No.
Oh. That one cannot be targeted by Fatal Push. Come on, Clay.
He's already cycled it. It's already in the graveyard. His life total's already changed.
You know he has Fatal Push.
Yep.
He has Swamps.
He's at 7.
He's at 7. Why did you? Let me ask you this: why didn't you at least think about it? Because you're right. He just put it in the graveyard, and I have to believe it's closer than that.
We just already moved on from that. We're just done with that. Here comes Snappy.
You're telling me you're sure? You don't even want to think about it.
He's been playing Death Shadow a long time.
Every creature you play this whole game will get Fatal Pushed. That's the only one that won't.
Opt! No. Yes! Another Thoughtseize. Whoo! Whew. Whew. Man. What a sick sweat. McDuffie down to 5. Doing this all to himself, by the way.
It's a good thing we don't have a 3/4 Swamp Walker out there.
Here's a Death Shadow. Just taking away the Fatal Pushes. Spicklemire going to sacrifice some lands. Breeding Pool, Overgrown Tomb, Blood Crypt, Goblet Shrine already on the battlefield.
Don't even think about it.
Clay will draw more lands for the young man. Like all the lands. Could use a Street Wraith now. Would give him a fighting chance. I will say that. Hardcast Dismember to kill Snapcaster Mage. That's not pretty. That's not pretty, folks. Let's go over to McDuffie.
Dude, just pass the turn, and then if the coast is clear, Snapcaster Opt.
I think starting with Thought Scour is actually pretty good. Another Death Shadow. Oh no, actually it's just concede.
Come on, baby.
You can't win, Clay. You can't win. So
come on.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
It was, I think it was in.
Yeah, it was in play.
It was. I think his play might have been Snapcaster Opt at the end of the turn.
It was in play.
Didn't pick it up.
Whew, boy. Whew. It's a sweat right there. That's a sweat right there. But We got Korey McDuffie tying things up here against Clay Spicklemire.
You're telling me you're sure you don't want to cast this Street Wraith? These people. It's modal. It has several modes.
Yeah?
Multiple modes. And with all these fatal pushes, I don't know. I think it should be happening more often than it does, which is currently 0. It never happens. No one does it.
You know, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So you're telling me you're positive. Okay. All right. If you know, you know.
You're having a tough time believing it.
If you know, if you're sure, I just want to make sure you're sure. Don't just do it because you do it all the time.
These two young ones, they're going to shuffle up here for game number 3.
It's why I can't play this deck, by the way, because I would just be tanking all the time, being like, I think I want to cast this thing.
Yeah.
I think I just want to get busy.
You got to hold steady.
I want to get busy.
You got to hold steady, though. SCG newsletter very quickly here, folks, what we're going to talk about first. Then we'll learn a little bit more about each player. So we're going to hear for our 3rd game of the Death Shadow Mirror. It's your source for Magic the Gathering news. You got no excuse not to sign up for it. It's free, you know?
And right over at go.cerseigames.com/newsletter to get signed up. Your source for Magic the Gathering news, highlights from some of the best articles on SCG, upcoming SCG tour dates and locations. You can find invitational qualifiers and game nights near you, an exclusive cardboard crack comic, and best of all, it's free over at go.cerseigames.com/newsletter.
Clay Spicklemire, Korey McDuffie getting ready for a 3rd and final game here. We'll learn a little bit more about Korey if we can, since he just did win the most recent game. The 25-year-old, though, he just looks, I don't remember him being 25. I always think of him as being like 17 or 18, because I've known him for so long. From Atlanta, GA, that's where he drove up from. 7 open top 8s, 2 open wins. Won the 2014 Yu-Gi-Oh! National Championships. Uncle of 2 orange tabby cats, and he loves himself some death metal. He's got some great hair, too. I'll tell you what. Looks like an anime character a lot of the time, does Korey McDuffie. And now he's kind of the old man, playing it up against the new hotness.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, and Clay Spicklemire, the 17-year-old from Indianapolis, Indiana. 3 open top 8s, 1 open win. It was a team open for him with Chris Anderson and Spencer Garnier. Wears at least 1 article of Club's clothing at every Magic tournament for good luck. Taking some math courses at a local college. Pretty smart kid at a young age. And he was kind of a military kid. He was growing up. Lived at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs for a couple of years while his dad taught physics. That's Clay Spicklemire. It's Korey McDuffie. And it's game 3 here in just a moment from Cincinnati. Looks like some more pile shuffling to get you going, Patrick. So that's good.
I can give Korey a pass for now because I really do like him a lot. But that only goes so far, you know?
Oh, yeah, you could turn heel at any moment.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's an expiration date, limited warranty, whatever you want to call it on that sort of thing.
On everything.
On everything.
On actual everything.
Subject to change.
Yeah. There's fine print on everything.
Right.
Rune Halo naming Valakut, huh? Really? That's one of my spots?
Yeah, I don't know if I got any that's really, I guess, turn 1 hollow 1, but even that seems more realistic than Rune Halo on Valakut by a lot. And that's probably creature with prowess deals 5+ damage.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage. I don't even know what creature could deal 5 prowess damage in Modern right now. Like Swift Spear can't.
Boros Charm, a double strike on a Swift Spear.
That's your big plan?
It's just it happens a lot. It's like casting the Street Wraith. I'm not saying that it's right to do all the time. I'm saying tell me you're thinking about it. Don't just put it in your graveyard. You know McDuffie. You've seen the way that whole game played out. He obviously had at least 1 fatal push in his hand. Anything you were trying to draw to was just going to die. Wasn't going to do anything. We know this. And yet, I guess if Spicklemire's got 1 copy of Ranger of Eos in the sideboard, and if he's drawing into that and he thinks that's like enough gas to, that's fine. And if he really feels like he needs all of it, that's fine.
Doesn't sound fine. You still seem you still seem a little upset.
Just tell me you're thinking about it.
Okay. This is a big opening couple of turns here for me.
Oh yeah.
Player ends the first turn at 13 or less life. I got 2 shots at this. 2 shots. Here we go. Fetch. Come on. That was over way too fast. Okay. Ooh, there's Thoughtseize. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I don't think you're gonna get it, man.
Oh, come on. 17.
Got bad news.
17.
I think it's unlikely.
There's got to be a Street Wraith over there somewhere.
You don't think Korey McDuffie's street wraithing first to get some more information?
Stop. Everything you're saying makes sense. I don't want to hear it, though. 15. Traverse, Decay, Liliana, couple of lands.
I think you just take the Planeswalker and then you weave around the removal spells.
And then you cycle Street Wraith after you take the Planeswalker. That's all that is.
I'm working with that. Well, I would respect that if McDuffie wanted the information on Thoughtseize before deciding if he wanted to play to cast the Street Wraith.
Yeah, exactly.
4 or more turns from now.
Exactly.
I would respect that. I don't get that vibe, though.
There goes the Planeswalker. We're going to Clay. Verdant Catacombs, pass it over to McDuffie. Fatal Push the draw. Korey's hand looks real good, by the way. There's an opt that he won't Snapcaster Mage. There's a Golagon's Command, a Liliana. He's just going to play a Steam Vents tapped because he's in no rush. Plenty of time for both players here. About 12:30 left to go in round number 8. Clay's going to sacrifice a Bloodstained Mire, looks like. Going to fall down to likely 17, but we'll see how low he wants to go. Looks like he's just going to get Overgrown Tomb tapped.
I think I like McDuffie's side of this matchup here. I think the fact that the Abrupt Decay, Inquisition, Fatal Push lining up against the Delve threats, and just a generally better late game from Korey's side. It's a lot of the same cards, so the matchup can only be so good, but I think McDuffie gets the better of it.
It's kind of the power of blue, honestly. Now, Spicklemire does have some good cards that allow him to play a longer game. Ranger, Vios, and Lingering Souls. It's just a matter of if they're in the deck or not.
I'm sure they're in. You gotta, these post-game games of this matchup are such a slog.
Where's Liliana? Is it a Stubborn Denial, perhaps? Well, that answers that. The answer is yes, it is. Stubborn Denial is going to take care of the Planeswalker. McDuffie will untap, and it's time for him to draw. He's got a Liliana of his own. Do not forget that. He just picked up a copy of Death Shadow. Only at 15 right now, but doesn't take him much effort to get lower. McDuffie will play an opt. He'll scry 1. Well, he's just going to draw that card. I think that may have been a mistake.
Or he may have thought that was Serum Visions.
Yep. Thought Scour is going to put Snapcaster Mage and Polluted Delta in the graveyard. Thought seizes the draw. He'll pass the turn back.
Coast is clear here for Spicklemire. Resolve something.
There's Lingering Souls. That is something. We're going to go over McDuffie now. McDuffie will draw. I picked up a Scalding Tarn, so he's found the third land that he was missing.
Yeah, that's a big draw there because you can see his hand is really clogged up with 3s right now. Kolaghan's Command, Liliana the Veil.
And he wasn't low enough to play Death Shadow, and he can be now as well.
But he's got to walk this tightrope now of, you know, he's going to deal some damage to himself going about his business and getting Death Shadow ready to be a real threat, but it's not the easiest thing for him to answer a bunch of Lingering Souls tokens.
This is true. We're going to see if all that testing that he did leading up to this event has paid off. You have to imagine he's put himself in this situation before. And he's off to a great start this weekend. Where does he want to start? He's very thoughtful with his play. And he always has been, as here's a Thoughtseize. Push, Traverse, Decay.
Yeah, it's just challenging now to, you know, be able to get a clock going in the face of all this removal, and how much time do you really have against this Lingering Soul?
Well, I thought the turns might be a little bit faster than this, but I hadn't watched Korey play for a little while. He is, again, a little bit deliberate with his play. Very thoughtful, but we're working our way to about 8:30 now. Probably enough for both players to get it done, but it's got to start to become a concern. McDuffie's just going to pass the turn back after playing the Scalding Tarn, taking the Traverse. Cycle Street Wraith very quickly here from Spicklemire. It's going to fall down on 11. Here's an attack for 2. So McDuffie is going to fall down to 11. Thoughtseize could be good. Push, Shadow, Liliana, 2 Kolaghan's commands. That's what you're talking about. Gummed up on 3s.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that you want to take one of the 1-mana spells because it's, as long as he's only casting 1 spell a turn, I think it might be hard for McDuffie to catch up. Although it's tough, my instinct is initially here on Death Shadow, but just because it's the most dangerous 1-mana spell in McDuffie's hand. But because the Kolaghan's command allows him to get back the Death Shadow pretty easily, I'm not so sure.
It also takes care of one of the Spirit tokens as well. Kolaghan's command is actually in a decent enough spot here. I mean, if you're McDuffie, it's weird insofar as you kind of need to draw some lands right now.
Right, you would like a draw. You would like a land next turn, so you have 4 mana to do 2 things, whatever that ends up being.
Yeah. Because he can actually kind of work himself through these Lingering Souls tokens, you know. Kolaghan's command plus push 1, but he's going to take Fatal Push.
I like Clay's choice there. The Fatal Push is a 1-mana spell, and so it sets McDuffie up to do 2 things in 1 turn. The Death Shadow he can't cut McDuffie off of because he can simply get it back with the Kolaghan's command if he draws a 4th land next turn. Fatal Push is something that once it's out of there, it's out of there. And now it's a big draw step. You know, if McDuffie can't produce 2 spells in a turn soon, it's going to be really hard to catch up.
Mm-hmm. Going to go over to Korey. That's a land. That's an important one, too. K-Command or Liliana? Liliana's in such a weird spot right now, too.
Also, Liliana is a little bit tricky because it requires 3 black mana to play Liliana and Death Shadow this turn.
Mm-hmm.
That forces him to get a Blood Crypt untapped.
Don't want to do that.
And he might not be able to afford that. So he might have to play Death Shadow Kolaghan's command just because he has the Steam Vents that's not generating black mana for him. Because I think McDuffie would like to fetch a basic with the Scalding Tarn.
Yeah, I think he wants to search for a basic island. I don't think he wants to take 3.
Yeah.
I don't think he can afford to take 3. Yep, there's the basic island. Can't search for a basic swamp, obviously, because it's Scalding Tarn. He's down to 9. It's 9 all. Does K command make you discard, I guess? Discard push. Yeah, one thing here, it's just if these guys, Korey's just got to speed up his play. Surprised at no shadow.
Well, Spicklemire discarded a push, knowing the contents of the hand. You might think your Death Shadow is just no good here.
Well, I mean, Korey knows the other card in his hand is Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
Here's an attack.
Maybe the hope is he can Kolaghan's Command or Liliana that removal spell out of the hand, and then try to win with Death Shadow in one turn.
Oof.
Ugh. That is really rough for McDuffie.
Yeah, a playable spell and Decay still at the ready is really bad news. Blue to Delta is the draw. That's in search of a basic swamp, but that Shadow is a 6/6. Yeah, he's got no outs to the Shadow. Ah, that's not true. That's not true. I'm wrong. K command, kill a spirit, make him discard.
You have a polluted Delta also, so
Yeah.
you might be able to manage your life total a little bit.
Yep. No, he's okay. This make you discard. So this is part of the reason he didn't expose the Shadow last turn.
Right, was just hoping to be able to set this up.
Yep. There's Death Shadow. Play a Delta, most likely. All right, he's navigated things well. He has navigated things very well. Pretty impressive here from McDuffie, because that Shadow is a 7/7 right now, which means it's a lethal attacker, and depending on what Clay's draw was, he might have to slow down now.
Yep. Maybe he has to send one spirit as insurance against a removal spell instead of both.
Which is what he's going to do. What did he draw? Just to land, pass the turn back.
Good news for McDuffie.
Yeah. Polluted Delta the draw there for Korey. But see, Korey can't attack either.
Because if you can play, you know, if Spicklemire chumps with a spirit, then you play Liliana, sack the other spirit, you're dead on the way back.
Yep. Under 1 minute. Curious what the play is with Liliana, plus or minus. Just gonna minus it? Okay. Well, that solves that. Whoa.
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 Easy.
Yeah, you can't attack, man.
Yeah. Don't come this far and then.
And in that, yeah, you can't attack. Well, that's a fatal push. That takes care of this game right there. Big top deck there from Clay Spicklemire. Gonna win this match over Korey McDuffie, 2-1. 5-color Death Shadow. Gonna take care of Griss's Death Shadow, and it's off the back of a timely fatal push.